should be accepted by all aspirants.
Integrity.
Maendeleo Chap party leader and presidential aspirant Alfred Mutua called on political leaders to show their scorecard to Kenyans so that they can be elected on that basis. Speaking during the inspection of road construction works in Chumvi, Machakos County, Mutua said even those not in elected positions but are seeking seats need to use networks and foundations to develop their regions.
Mimi nawaomba viongozi wengine ambao wanaomba kiti, wacheni kusimama hapo na kila wakati kuwaambia wananchi mtawafanyia nini. Hiyo ni sawa, lakini wananchi wanataka kujua hivi sasa wewe unafanya nini.
Meanwhile, NAK Kenya party leader Martha Karua has denied any interest in being a presidential running mate. Speaking in Kirugoya, Kirinyaga County, Karua said she has not been approached by any presidential candidate requesting her to be a deputy. Karua insists her main interest is Kirinyaga gubernatorial race.
It's a seat dependent on the whims and mercy of the person who is the candidate, isn't it? Yeah. And it's a seat where people are not nominated until May of next year. And I can tell you standing here, nobody has requested me to be their deputy.
Kevin Washira, Legends Edition.
Pastoralists, communities in Isiolo County have been urged to brace for hard times ahead as weather forecasters predict a delay in the seasonal October to December rains. Isiolo County Director of the Meteorological Department, John Nguyo, who launched a food aid relief program in the region, cautioned against over-reliance on food aid, calling on locals to embrace sustainable agriculture.
Scientists and indigenous weather forecasts in Isiolo County have urged the communities living in the county and its environs to take actions to minimize the loss of livestock by selling some of the animals, owing to the looming drought and delays in the October-December rain season. According to Isiolo Director of Meteorological Department, John Nguyo, the prediction by the Samburu elders, which was derived from slaughtering goats and observing their intestines, echoed the scientific findings of the department that the rains in the region will be unevenly distributed, with some parts expected to receive no rainfall.
Devise the communities wakati mwingine wawe on lookout, wawe waangalifu, kwa sababu hata wakati hakuna mvua kuna wakati kuna kuwaga na hiyo flash flood.
Mambo ya mawingu tunaangalia, mambo ya nyota tunaangalia, tunachinja mbuzi tunaangalia mara, na tukaona tuko na uoga ya maybe mali yetu itakwisha. Tuko uoga.
A situation that could worsen the already dire situation. During the launch of the food relief program in the region, the community was cautioned against over-reliance on livestock, with the government agencies teaming up with non-state actors to promote sustainable agriculture.
So as pastoralists, we should emphasize on diversification. Tuache mambo ya ng'ombe peke yake, tuende mambo pia ya kidogo ya mambo ingine ambayo yanasaidia sisi wakati wa jelali.
The collaboration between the indigenous weather forecast and the Kenya Meteorological Department is aimed at increasing the community's uptake on weather-related information for purposes of prior and adequate preparation of disaster-related eventualities.
Authorities in Ruiru, Kiambu County have impounded tens of sacks of contraband sugar believed to have been smuggled from Uganda. According to Ruiru Deputy County Commissioner Margaret Mbogwa, the sugar, which was stored in a warehouse in Githurai, had been disguised as animal feeds to perhaps escape the watchful eye of Kenyan authorities.
Police say they were tipped off about a consignment of sugar which had been stored inside two warehouses in Githurai. Two suspects have been arrested and the sugar confiscated.
Sukari nyingi sana ambayo tulijua ya kwamba imetoka Uganda na ikaingia ikiwa concealed na ama imefichwa ndani ya chakula cha ng'ombe. Ndio tumeingia hapa tukapata hiyo sukari. Kwa sasa hatuwezi sema ni kiwango gani manake tunaendelea kuhesabu.
Ruiru Deputy County Commissioner Margaret Mbogwa says the sugar, which was concealed inside animal feed, packaged, had been smuggled into the country from Uganda. Meanwhile, a father in Busia has been arrested in connection with the death of his son. Leonardo Jambo is said to have killed his 17-year-old son in Nabisiongo village in Matayo sub-county for stealing trees from his cart, leading to his death. Family members say the suspect is violent and a troublemaker in the village.
Ningesema tu huyu Leonardo Jambo achukuliwe hatua na serikali ili aweze kupatiwa funzo kulingana na vitendo vyake, kwa sababu ni vitendo vibaya.
Ni kama walikuwa na ugomvi fulani na mtoto. Sasa penye imefikia ni serikali tusaidie.
But neighbors say the father went far and instead should have allowed authorities to handle the matter and now want the government to take action against the father. For Legends Edition, I'm Sarafina Robi.
Kenya has recorded 129 new cases of COVID-19 from 5,110 samples tested in the last 24 hours. The new figures are representative of a 2.5% positivity rate. Total confirmed positive cases are 252,628, while cumulative tests so far conducted are slightly over 2.6 million. 6 more deaths have been recorded, bringing the fatalities to 5,255. 5 are late deaths reported after conducting facility record audits in the months of August and October 2021. As of October 22nd, 2021, a total of 4.9 million vaccines had so far been administered across the country. And now on to our other stories. A section of Migori leaders have threatened to take unprecedented actions against the National Environmental Management Authority over what they have termed as environmental degradation and deaths caused by gold leaching companies. Led by Migori Senator Ochilo Ayako, the leaders have vowed to ensure that justice is served to the affected families within Nyatike sub-county. This and more stories in our county news roundup.
Leaders in Migori County have raised concern over the gold mining activities in the area, which they say has caused deaths and massive destruction to the environment. On Wednesday, 2 miners perished while one was left nursing injuries after a section of the Makalda gold mines caved in.
I believe that NEMA in this end of the world is also compromised. The public complain day in, day out. They listen to what politicians like me are saying, but they do nothing. So for me, I am going to take this matter up, particularly for an institution like NEMA, with higher authorities.
In Trans Nzoia County, squatters living in Sosio Forest along Mount Elgon have been given 3 days to vacate.
Ingawaje tuliwapatia notisi, sasa inaenda ni miaka miwili hata watoke kwa msitu. Kuna wale ambao walitoka, lakini kuna wale kupitia uchochezi wa viongozi fulani wamekatalia kule kwa msitu. Na hali ya uharibifu wanaofanya, jana tulipokagua kupitia aerial surveillance yetu.
Elsewhere, Swiss ambassador to Kenya has called on education stakeholders to seek opportunities to boost partnerships in education, research and culture in a bid to reshape the lives of learners and achieve a common future.
Kenya has, since independence, taken some very important decisions. And I think one of the most important the government of Kenya have taken is to invest in education.
Now we have an institution that is growing to become an international institution that is going to model excellence, the Montessori model in the ECD, the excellence in terms of hygiene and cleanliness and discipline.
He spoke even as fish farmers in at least 15 counties across the country received assorted inputs and equipments from the national government to support extension services.
The support is among the program's interventions. Hii ni mojawapo tu bado aiming at promoting enhanced fish production of smallholder fish farmers.
Finally, workers involved in emptying pit latrines in Korogocho slums have benefited from a donation of soap as part of the global hand washing campaign.
To appreciate the work they are doing and give them some soap, because once they do that work, their hands are contaminated and this need to wash, more so during this time of COVID-19.
The donation is aimed at promoting basic hygiene in the informal settlements. Nancy Okware, Legends Edition.
The world's biggest oil exporter, Saudi Arabia, has pledged to cut its carbon emissions to net zero by 2060. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman said the Gulf state would invest more than $180 billion to reach the goal. Saudi Arabia now joins more than 100 countries that have committed to reaching net zero emissions.
The announcement comes days before the COP26 Climate Change Summit, at which world leaders will be pressed on their plans to cut greenhouse gas emissions to reduce global warming. While China and Russia have plans to reach net zero by 2060, other countries including the US, the UK and Saudi Arabia's neighbor, the United Arab Emirates, aim to achieve the goal 10 years earlier. Saudi Arabia's move does make a shift for the world's 10th largest emitter of carbon dioxide. It has long resisted calls to cut its investments in fossil fuels. Jacqueline Masharia for Legends Edition.
Well, we take a break, and when we come back later on this bulletin, we will be featuring sports news.
Ili kupata skiza tune hii ya amani, bonyeza star 811 star 962 hash.
Bado kuna watu wema na wabaya. Mtu yeyote hujichagulia hali ya kuishi na wengine. Kama huwezi ishi kwa amani na wengine, usiwasumbue. Na kama huwezi kusaidia wengine, na basi usiwadhulumu. Lakini ni bora zaidi kuishi kwa amani na kila mtu. Ni bora zaidi kutafuta amani.
Ili kupata skiza tune hiyo ya amani, bonyeza star 811 star 962 hash. Star 811 star 962 hash.
Log on to the KBC website at www.kbc.co.ke to get the latest breaking news, entertainment, sports, politics, lifestyle or business trends from Kenya and around the world. Never miss new episodes from your favorite TV shows, reruns and movies. Just stream online or watch live on your YouTube channel at KBC Channel 1 TV shows. For the day's biggest stories, trustworthy news and family entertainment, log on to KBC Channel 1. Watch what you want anytime, anywhere.
Hers was the face I saw above my cradle, the only mother I've ever known. But my feet are set upon a road that I must follow.
I will teach thee. Men shall be ruled by law, not by the will of other men.
Slaves are mine.
My people go.
I know not his God, neither will I let his people go.
You have not obeyed the Lord.
This night, the Lord our God will deliver us from the bondage of Egypt.
Topile and below with the sports roundup of the Legends edition this Saturday evening. And ladies and gentlemen, we've got a bumper show for you this evening with quite a number of stories. And in the highlights tonight, we've got the burial of Agnes Tirop, the Starlets through to the second round, and the swimming gala. Now, fallen 5,000-meter athlete Agnes Tirop was on Saturday laid to rest in a sorrowful ceremony in her parents' home in Nyamisa village, Mosoriot, Nandi County. Ministry of Sports and Athletics Kenya officials, as well as hundreds of athletes, turned up to pay their last respects to the world beater, who was found dead in her house in Iten, Elgeyo Marakwet County on October the 13th.
The final send-off ceremony for the former 5,000 meters gold medalist Agnes Tirop was held today at St. Michael's Academy, Nyamisa Primary School grounds in Nandi County. Ministry of Sports and Athletics Kenya officials, as well as hundreds of athletes, turned up to pay their last respects for the former world cross-country champion, who was found dead in her house in Iten, Elgeyo Marakwet on 13th of October this year. Sports Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohamed thanked President Uhuru Kenyatta for ordering thorough investigation into the athlete's death. In addition, Athletics Kenya President Jackson Tuwei called for the transfer of all the slain athletes' properties to her parents.
I would like, on behalf of Athletics Kenya, to thank His Excellency the President, Uhuru Kenyatta, for giving a very strong directive immediately she heard what happened to Agnes. She gave a very strong directive which has been followed fully, and I want to thank those who took the responsibility of investigating what happened.
During her career, Tirop had success as both a junior, winning 5,000 meters bronze at World Championship in 2012 and 2014, and as a senior, winning the World Cross Country Championship in 2015. In August, she finished fourth in the 5,000 meters finals at the Tokyo Olympics, and in 2017 and 2019, she won the 10,000 meters bronze at the World Athletics Championships. In September, she broke the women's only 10 kilometers road race record by 28 seconds in Germany, setting a new time of 30 minutes and 1 second. Daniel Mwendwa, Sports.
May her soul rest in peace. The national women's soccer Harambee Stars trounced South Sudan 7-1 in a one-sided match played at the Nyayo National Stadium to advance to the second round of the Africa Women's Cup of Nations qualifiers. Harambee Stars humbled earlier Bright Stars of South Sudan 8-0 in the first leg in Egypt.
The script was the same in the second leg as Charles Okere's side controlled proceedings from the onset. Starlets scored 7 past South Sudan to book a ticket to the second round. Harambee Starlets humbled Bright Starlets of South Sudan 8-0 in the first leg, courtesy of goals from Ulinzi Starlets striker Nedi Atieno, Mwana Alima Adam and Gentry Shikangwa. The return leg appeared as a formality as Kenya targets to make a second appearance at the Africa Women's Cup of Nations. The 2022 Africa Women's Cup of Nations will act as a qualifier for the FIFA Women's World Cup that will be hosted by New Zealand and Australia in July 2023.
That was Alvin and Jamlik with the report. Now, the Kenya National Rally Championship, KNRC Speedmaster Eric Benji says they are well prepared ahead of the Mini Safari Classic Rally slated for 4th to the 6th November this year. The Mini Classic Rally will act as a curtain raiser for the East African Safari Classic Rally slated for February in 2022.
Eric Bengi and his navigator Gatimo Mindo in a Datsun 180 are doing their final touches ahead of the Mini Classic Rally. Bengi says the car is in tip-top shape after doing the testing last weekend in Athi River, where they covered 120 kilometers. The KNRC Speedmaster said the rally is a Legends event and is not pegged on speed and podium finishes.
Very excited, to be honest with you. You know, this is the rally for the legends. It's a pleasure for me to be classified together with the legends like Ian, Geoff Bell, Boldy and such.
We've got 43 entrants coming, 4 from England, the rest are locals, so it should be really exciting.
The mini classic rally has attracted 43 participants, among them top drivers Baldev Chaga, Raj Barij, Ian Duncan, Aslam Khan, and former East Africa Classic Rally champion Geoff Bell. The rally will be flagged off at Karen Waterfront grounds before heading to Amboseli, Kajiado County, where the cars will cover 1,000 kilometers.
On to swimming. Makini Schools Sports Academy and Seahorses Aquatic Center grabbed the lion's share of the medals on the day 2 of the NCAA Level 3 Age Group Swimming Championships held at the Makini School, Nairobi. The 3-day event that has brought together 10 teams will end this Sunday.
Kanotho Curtis from Otter Swim Club won the boys 12 to 13 years 200 meters butterfly, ahead of Masinde Mali and Matthew Michuki, who came in second and third respectively. Marion Alala took charge in the girls 10 to 11 years 100 meters individual medley, ahead of Kimberly Kimani and Aseka Ayako, who completed the top 3 position. Andri Chebet from Service Swim Club won the girls 12 to 13 years 100 meters individual medley, ahead of Amana Kagatu and Lisette Kipchumba, who came in second and third respectively.
I think that a lot of people have trained very hard, so I also have to train hard, but everyone is doing well, so yeah.
We train depending on the stroke you like, depending on what stroke you're good at and what stroke you like most.
One of the challenges was getting tired, because it's tiring, but you just push through.
Over 10 teams are taking part in the NCAA Level 3 Swimming Championship. Daniel Mwendwa for Legends Edition Sports.
Out of Channel 1's Dan Mwenda with the swimming story. Now, former Kenyan champions, Premiership champions Gor Mahia will be boosted by the government's decision to lift the ban on the stadia in the country, with the club calling on fans to attend tomorrow's CAF Confederations Cup second preliminary round, second leg match against Sudan's Al Ahly Merowe. Gor Mahia were 3-1 winners in the first leg played last weekend in Egypt, and a win tomorrow will see them advance to the playoff round. Richard Munga with the story.
Gor Mahia held their last training session today morning at Nyayo Stadium in preparation for tomorrow's CAF Confederations Cup second preliminary round second leg match against Sudan Al Ahly Merowe.
Well, there's not many changes I can make because we've only got 16 players available for the CAF game, so it's likely to be a very similar lineup to what it was in Egypt. The expectations of the game, I want us to go and win it. There's no room for any complacency. We have to enter the game. It's 0-0 and we need to go and win it. The sooner we can maybe get a goal, the better in the game. We're not going to sit back and sit on the 3-1. We have to go after them.
In the first leg match played last week, Kogalo completed a second half comeback to defeat the Sudan side 3-1 at the New Suez Stadium in Egypt.
Fight concede, hiyo ndio kitu tunahope kesho. Hiyo tu ndio kitu ya maana. Tusiconcede, then tutafute early goals.
Nasema tu team ni concentration na keep our heads high juu hatujamaliza kazi, tunakuja kumaliza kazi kesho hapa, na I think qualify to the next round.
Gor will hope to continue their good form in the recent days where they managed a 1-0 win over their arch rivals AFC Leopards, their 31st victory in the Mashemeji Derby. The former champions' chances of a win tomorrow have been boosted significantly after the Ministry of Sports today announced that fans will be allowed back into the stadium for the first time since last year, when they were banned from sporting facilities by the government in order to curb the spread of COVID-19. Meanwhile, Kenyan champions Tusker FC were knocked out of the CAF Champions League after losing 5-0 on aggregate to Egyptian giants Zamalek FC at Burj Al Arab Stadium. The Robert Matano coach side will now turn their attention to the CAF Confederation Cup, where they will be grouped alongside one of the winners on the ongoing first round.
We take a short break, and when we get back, we shall have stories from the Handball League, the goal setters Figo Ball feature, and a story the international scene from the NBA Lakers versus Suns. Don't go away.
Nicholas, you've had us talk about you. Do you feel like sometimes in a room people ignore you, they talk about you, it's like you're not there in the room?
This experience has experienced
yes. And do you sometimes go through that people in society reject him?
Some people ignoring Nicholas, telling me, have you given your child drugs so that he can walk like this?
Yeah.
Then you have to take time and answer that person.
Thank you for staying with KBC Channel 1's Legends Edition Sports segment. Well, the chase for the top 6 positions in the Kenya Handball League has intensified as the league nears the penultimate stage this season. In a highly charged match played out today, Buccaneers trounced Rangers 32-24 to enhance their chances of finishing the top 6 and qualify for the Super Cup.
With less than 5 matches to go before the season ends, the race for the top 6 positions has taken shape. The remaining matches are crucial to some of the teams as they eye a top 6 finish to strengthen their chances of qualifying for the Super Cup. In some of the matches played today, Buccaneers trounced Rangers 32-24, Ulinzi Women defeated Rangers 41-18, while Ghana's Ambo JKUAT in a closely contested match. Strathmore, Sirius, Ulinzi GSU and Black Mamba currently lead the top 5 chase in the men's category.
For us as Buccaneers, as a team, we kept our focus throughout the game. We maintained a steady lead of about 8 scores throughout the game, and we are happy that we have won. We maintained our focus and we are happy that we are one step away from Super Cup.
In the ladies category, Nairobi Water leads the onslaught ahead of Sirius, Ulinzi, Nanyuki Ladies and Kenyatta University.
The Kenya Sports Association for the Visually Impaired concluded their 2-day African goalball qualifiers yesterday with 6 men and 6 women players selected to represent Kenya in the Continental Showpiece set for December in Cape Coast, Ghana. The association hopes the Team Kenya will register positive results, with 3 men's and women's teams set to qualify for the 2022 IBSA Goalball World Championships in Hangzhou, China.
It is a sport that has an arguably low following in the country, and despite years of Kenya participating in the African Goalball Championship, the Kenya Sports Association for the Visually Impaired is confident that the sport is growing in popularity in recent years.
This sport, first of all, began in Germany after the Second World War. We know it was a form of rehabilitation for the soldiers who had lost their sight during the Second World War. And so it started as a recreation sport, as an adapted volleyball. So it went on like that until later it was incorporated into the Paralympic sports fraternity. Paralympic sports movement.
Goalball, designed for the visually impaired, is played in teams of 3, where athletes attempt to score by rolling a ball equipped with bells into the opposing team's goal. The sound of the bells attached to the ball guides defenders who use their bodies to block against these shots.
Players are blindfolded, and then there's a period of silence so that they can orient each other on the positions to play, and that's why we follow those kind of regulations.
Kenya athletes have taken part in the Africa Goalball Championship from as early as 2010, when the championship was held in Port Said, where Egypt finished 4th behind Algeria, Morocco and hosts Egypt. The 2014 edition was hosted in Nairobi, with Kenya posting a similar result as it did in Egypt.
Subsequently, in 2017, there was another African Goalball Championship, and they performed very well where the men's team was number 4 out of 12 teams and the women's team was number 3. So that was a very good performance. And now we look forward for this African Global Championship in Ghana, where we believe that our team is going to bring us a gold or a silver medal.
3 editions later, the Kenya Sports Association for the Visually Impaired believes the men's and women's teams will perform better in this year's edition that is set for Cape Coast, Ghana from December 6th to the 10th.
I train students who have gone visually impaired later in life, and we take them through rehabilitation so that they can be able to accept the situation and gain skills to be able to move on with life. Yeah, I am a coach of the team from KIB, or Kenya Institute for the Blind, and we are here to participate in the national trials, qualifiers, and God willing, maybe we get a player joining the national team to represent us in the All-African Global Championships that are yet to come in December this year.
Hii timu ya KSB nimekuwa nikiwatrain gym nini, lakini umeona pia ni majamaa wako na nguvu, ni kama kochi wao. So tumeng'ang'ana, kulikuwa na challenges kidogo kwa sababu kuna yako na injury, kama huyo alikuwa na injury ya mikono, kuna mwingine pia ako na injury ya magoti, lakini tumeng'ang'ana na tukawa tumeshinda.
Algeria won gold in both the men's and women's events at last year's Africa Championships in Port Said, Egypt, booking their place at the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games.
On the international scene, Chris Paul became the first player in NBA history to pair 20,000 points with 10,000 career assists as defending Western Conference champions Phoenix Suns registered a 115-105 victory over the winless Los Angeles Lakers. Meanwhile, the Brooklyn Nets earned their first win of the season following the 114-109 win over the Philadelphia 76ers. Munga with the story.
Out with DeAndre Ayton. Crowder, another floater is...
Chris Paul scored his 20,000th career point on the way to 23 points and 14 assists.
Here is Paul. Probing, lobbing, and Ayton oops the alley. Come on.
And Devin Booker added 14 points in the Phoenix Suns' 115-105 victory over the winless Los Angeles Lakers.
Defense, they lost with Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Alex Caruso moving on as Booker splashes the jump.
LeBron James scored 25 points and Russell Westbrook had 22 points, 11 rebounds and 9 assists.
Howard was going to make it. He's one of the names that came up. LeBron remains in a rhythm.
As the Lakers dropped to 0-2 so far in its reboot season, despite playing decently in the first and final quarters.
The name of the game is to win ball games. But there's a process along with building something to become the team that you want to become. And I know it firsthand. I know, the shortcomings that happens throughout when you're trying to build something special, and it doesn't happen overnight. As much as you want it, you're going to get frustrated at times because you know what you're capable of, you know what the team can become capable of, but it just takes time, and we'll know when that time is. But right now we got to just continue to push.
Davis had 22 points and 14 rebounds, and Carmelo Anthony added 16 points in a rematch of the first round playoff series last season, which was won by the Suns on their way to the NBA Finals.
Here's a Seth Curry first shot of the night, goes in.
In another match, Kevin Durant bagged 29 points, 15 rebounds and 12 assists.
Area where Maxey has to improve. Nice lob, Harden and Claxton. Good connection there. 76.
James Harden scored 20 points as the Brooklyn Nets beat the Philadelphia 76ers 114-109.
Night in their first game in 19 minutes as Embiid knocks down his shot.
The Nets were missing Kyrie Irving, who isn't with the team due to his refusal to get a COVID-19 vaccine. Ben Simmons sat out the home opener for personal reasons, and the Sixers do not know when the three-time All-Star will return.
He's already got 4 points and 3 assists, and the lead is 11.
And with that NBA story on the international scene, we wrap up the sports roundup this Saturday evening on the Legends edition. And we shall take a short break. And when we take a break, we get back to Catherine Kasavuli to wind up the show this evening. My name is Topi Liambila, and thanks for watching. Hope to see you again next Saturday for another Bamba edition of our sports roundup. Good evening.
Yeah.
Take a musical trip around Africa right here on KBC Channel 1. Every Sunday from 2 to 3 p.m. on Afro Vibes.
Because this is the hottest show right now.
We give you a musical cocktail from North Africa, Central Africa, West, South and East of Africa.
We are live and we are loud.
Where about it today? I want to show them my attitude today.
Your Sunday will never be the same again with
DJ D and
DJ Leo
on Afro Vibes.
Your musical passport to Africa.
Allow me to enjoy myself. Allow me to enjoy myself. Allow me to enjoy myself.
All holders are notified to report and surrender unclaimed financial assets to the Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority on or before November 1st, 2021. It is now easier to report and surrender. Visit www.holders.ufaa.go.ke and get started. Beat the November 1st, 2021 deadline. It's your turn. Pass the baton. Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority. Receive, safeguard, reunite.
Welcome back. Even with Kenya's 2010 constitution renaming Kenyatta Day as Mashujaa Day in order to incorporate modern day heroes, members of the Kapenguria 6 continue to define the country's spirit of heroism. Gashoka Kingori drives down the memory lane of heroes of Kenya.
Wimbo huu ni wimbo wa historia, watu wote mnaombwa msikize kwa makini. Ilikuwa Oktoba 52, watu wote tulisikia Kenyatta ameshikwa.
They are the 6 most influential leaders in the struggle for Kenya's independence. Jomo Kenyatta, Bildad Kagia, Kongo Karumba, Achieng' Oneko, Paul Ngei, and Fred Kubai.
To redeem our country.
The Kapenguria 6 were the founding fathers of the Kenyan nation.
Our main cause for struggle was to gain our land back. And the independence or self-government was only being used as a means of taking back our land. And without land, then everybody thought that we had been sold out.
We're not concerned of robbing people of their property, no. But what we want to get is power, that is the government. We want to rule our country.
The 6 were detained by the colonial government at Kapenguria, hence the tag Kapenguria 6. To preserve the history of the struggle for independence, the National Museums of Kenya rehabilitated this historic prison and opened it as a museum in 1993. It is located in Kapenguria town, West Pokot.
This is the place where Jomo Kenyatta was detained by the colonialists. They were detained for 6 months. When they were here, they were taken to Cheoyet. Cheoyet was the place where the court was.
The Kapenguria 6 are the reason why October 20th is the national holiday in Kenya. The day commemorates these heroes, though specifically marking the day Mzee Jomo Kenyatta was arrested in 1952. They may be dead for years now. Karumba 47 years, Jomo 45, Kubai 25, Ngei 17, Kagia 16, and Oneko 14. But their combined legacy has refused to die, may never die. Even after Kenya's 2010 constitution renamed October 20th Mashujaa Day to incorporate more modern-day heroes, the Kapenguria Six continue to define the country's spirit of heroism.
I believe that one day Kenya will be governed by a democratic government, representative and elected by the people. And by the people, I include anybody who decides to make Kenya his home.
In how many years?
Who accepts to be treated as an equal citizen with everybody else.
Flashback to early 1950s. The agitation for the end of colonialism is on a high gear. Members of Mau Mau are taking the oath.
We had oathing places in Nairobi and other areas. This was being organized under the umbrella of the Kenya African Union, and nobody would suspect, because sometimes we used to have our meetings in my office in Kiburi House. After having cow meeting in the evening, then later at night we bring our central committee of Mau Mau when everybody else who is not a member has left.
We knew our people were ignorant and they were ruled by the tradition customs, and where they thought that they held that oath could kill. And we tried to exploit the ignorance of our people.
On October 20th, 1952, Jomo Kenyatta is arrested.
We do understand and realize the fears of the European minorities in Kenya. They regard or link Jomo Kenyatta with Mau Mau or terrorism. But we, the African people, know that he is a sincere leader of his people who had devoted all his time to the benefit of the ordinary man.
He is detained here at Kapenguria alongside 5 others, making the Kapenguria Six.
Why have a trial? We didn't want a trial. We thought it was a waste of time and any big publicity to Mau Mau, which a detention order would never have had. As it was, that trial went on for months and months and months. And so the people suddenly said, well, this chap must be a good chap. Now he's okay. He's been tried by the white people. They all thought that this was a rigged trial. And by God, it was.
The trial took 6 months, after which Kenyatta was imprisoned to 7 years with hard labor at Lokitong, northern Kenya.
We were telling them that Kenyatta would never, ever return to the Kikuyu country. Never, ever. And we were making this promise. Was totally removed. His name was removed from everything. He was now to be a non-person.
Hawa walichukua mitirimbo na wakachukua sururu na wakachukua ile kivui ile kubwa nyondo ya kupiga mawe kushimba kaburi mbili kubwa sana, na hata kama nyinyi mnakwenda katika Lokitang mtaona kama mambo haya yalikuwa ya kweli. Mjue kwamba hapakuwa na nafasi au hapakuwa na kujua kwamba sisi tutarudi. Na walipima, labda walitaka kila shimo moja kwenda watu watatu sababu ilikuwa chini kabisa, na sisi tukasema haidhuru, Mungu iko na wananchi wako watatuombea tutarudi tena. Basi tafadhali wapigieni makofi hawa.
And as the clamor for independence continued, so did the Mau Mau casualties. In October 1956, Field Marshal Dedan Kimathi is captured, tried and executed. About 11,000 Mau Mau fighters are said to have lost their lives to the cause. To avoid more Africa unrest, the colonial government increased more Kenyans in the government, but radicalism among Kikuus continued, even in the isolation camps.
Villagization removed the Kikuyu people from their farms into glorified concentration camps, where they were given 23-hour curfews, and as a battle measure, it was very effective. It stopped food supplies to the forest.
From Lokitongs, Jomo Kenyatta was not set free even after serving 7 years. He was taken to an equally remote area in Samburu in 1960.
I repeat and confirm that in my view, Jomo Kenyatta's release would be at present a danger to security. The decision is mine. By this statement, I wish to make it clear that accordingly he will remain under restriction.
This is the place where he was brought, now turned into a museum. The Kenyatta House.
In 1960, wazungu walikuwa wamefika mahali sasa wanataka wapeane uongozi kwa Afrika. So wakaona kulingana na wao vile walikuwa wanahoji hawa watu, wakaona Kenyatta angeweza, lakini hawangeendelea kudiscuss wote na Kenyatta wakiwa huko Rotwa kati ya wenzake wangemuona kama yeye amependuka, amekuwa msaliti. So wakaona wamulete all the way from Rotwa to Maralal, mahali tumesimama hapa sasa. Sasa wakati walimuleta hapa ili waendelee kunegotiate mambo ya independence. So hapa ndio mahali walikaa na Kenyatta wakanegotiate mambo ya independence. That was 1960, late 1960. Akakaa hapa 61, 62, then 63 akawa prime minister. Then 64 akawa sasa president.
Interestingly, it is here that the fourth president of the Republic of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, was conceived. In 2007, Uhuru, then a member of parliament, would visit the cradle of his life.
Kenya, 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 taifa letu Kenya.
Will you press for the release of Jomo Kenyatta?
Certainly, yes.
How?
Again, by intensifying our efforts and more pressure on the British government and also the Kenya government, and using whatever influences we've gained from this present constitution for further efforts to secure his release.
August in 1961, and the colonial government gives in to pressure and releases Mzee Jomo Kenyatta.
He's going to be an ordinary citizen because all he wanted to see is an African flag flying over Kenya. That's all he was important.
What are his followers going to do with their arms?
They will bring their arms to me, to their government.
Geshoka Kingori, Legends Edition.
It has been a wonderful Saturday. Thank you so very much for joining us, and thank you for watching our sports news and of course all the news coverage that we have brought to you. Our sign language interpreter this evening has been Byron Abuli. My name is Catherine Kasavuli. Do have a wonderful weekend and enjoy the rest of your viewing. KBC Channel 1.